Hey, what's going on, everyone? Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter here. In this video, I'm going to go over the hottest best-selling items in my eBay store for the month of November 2020. Now, normally we go over the top 10 selling items for that month, but this month I've got an extra special bonus for you because we have 3 items that came in tied for that 10 spot. All of these items that you're going to see are items that sold for $50 or more and were sourced for a relatively low price compared to that final sale price. So these items I'm going to show you here could give you some good ideas when you are outsourcing, especially if you're thinking forward to 2021 and branching out into new areas. So let's start off with the first of the 3 items that tied at number 10. And that one here, we'll do a little screen share, is a Disney item. Who doesn't love Disney items, especially when they're combined with Lego? So it's awesome when that happens because you are then combining 2 different types of things that collectors like: Disney items and Lego items. Now, these are not just Lego items, they're Lego Duplo. Duplo is a subsection of Lego. They make these in Hungary, and they are designed for kids ages 1.5 to 5 years of age. And as you could see from the blocks here, these blocks are bigger than your traditional size Lego. In fact, they're specifically made to be 2 times the length, height, and width of the traditional Lego. But despite the size difference, the cool thing is that they are still compatible with a traditional Lego. So that is neat. Now, I'm going to give a couple of shout outs for this item here. You can see all the characters in here. This is an item that Mrs. Primetime, my wife, sourced at one of her Shop Goodwill lot purchases. So this is another one of her Disney purchases. We never showed this in an unboxing video because honestly, she's literally sourcing more stuff than I am right now. I mean, she is just on a sourcing rampage right now in a good way. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have a lot more unboxing videos to do, but it's just amazing what she's getting, and this is just a great example of it. And the other shout out I want to give is to Nadia Taylor. She is a subscriber here on the channel and a moderator in my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. She picked this up as a Christmas gift for for one of her kids. So I want to give her a shout out, and I'm going to put a link to her eBay store down below if you want to check that out. Now, one of the things I want to tell you about this is that another thing is that it's a used item, and you can see here we took a picture in which we opened everything up and we displayed all of the Lego pieces there. Now, there was 1 piece missing. There's supposed to be 48 pieces, but there's a little tip for you. If something's missing in like an assortment of Legos like this, what you could do if you have some extra Lego pieces around is you could just throw in an extra white Lego piece. So that's what we did here, and we literally just put that in the description section. You could see we said it's missing the instruction booklet and 1 white piece. I will add 1 random Lego Duplo piece that is not part of the set. So we actually had something like that around from just things we've sourced and from our kids when they were younger. So, keep those little spare pieces around. They could come in handy. And as you can see here, we do like to show all sides of the box so that the person knows what they're getting. And then here you could see, we did some little highlights on some of the more, popular items in here, which would of course be the little figures and stuff. So just to give you some ideas on how we display things, but $50 sale there. And that literally was something that wound up being sourced for like, $1 in the lot that we got. So this is the next one. And I showed these recently. I should actually say 2, these 2 books, the Photojournal Guide to Marvel Comics. I actually have one of these in my own collection. They are a great reference. I showed these recently in the sourcing video that I did when I went to my local comic and collectibles supplier, where I got a lot of stuff wholesale, and this was part of the lot. And one of the things I was showing in this in the video there was when you open it up, you're basically going to see that it has these 2 books, volumes 3 and 4. They cover all the Marvel titles from 1961 to 1986. So it's a great handy reference. Has lots of really good information on the artists and stuff. It has some information on prices, but that's obviously not relevant anymore. but they're really cool. And pictures like this, by the way, are very powerful. People do try to sell these books sometimes, and they'll sometimes just show the front and the side. But if you open it up like this and just take a little extra time, toss in a couple extra pictures like this really could be the thing that makes the sale for you. So as I mentioned in a prior video that I did on this is volumes 3 and 4. You could see that over here. Volumes 1 and 2 cover other comic books besides Marvel. So these are A and J, and then K and Z. You could sell them separately, like I said in the prior video, but selling them as a pair is the best thing that you really want to try to do. That's how you maximize your value. And I want to thank Pam Lambros from Flipping Hot Finds. She's also a moderator in my Facebook group. She's really big into comics. And if you like comics, she has a lot of good comics and pop culture items in her store. So I am going to share her eBay store down below as well, and her Instagram account. So that's what I'm going to do going forwards. If anyone happens who subscribes or is in my Facebook group and cracks my top 10, I am going to give you a shout out in this type of video, and I'm going to link to your store in the description section, and just as a way of thanking people for supporting me. Now, the next item, which is a $50 sale, has nothing to do with anyone that I know purchasing it. This is a little kind of inside trade secret. As some of you know, I work full-time as a neuropsychologist in a hospital, and this is a book about what I do. It's called The Handbook of Normative Data for Neuropsychological Assessment. And if you open it up, it has like a bunch of, it's very boring. It's just a way to kind of like score tests, and there's like a lot of numbers and data in there to do the types of assessment that I do. But it's something that is considered, something that people want to have on the bookshelf in my profession. But the key thing for you watching this is that keep in mind, if you see anything with the word neuropsychology on it or neuropsychological, it's possible it could be something that has some value to it. So this book came out in 2005. They never made another edition to it. And so it's still somewhat current, and it still wound up selling for $50. Just some other side tips on other types of neuropsychology books you want to be on the lookout for. This is considered absolutely the Bible in my profession. It's called Neuropsychological Assessment by Lezak. It doesn't even really come up on eBay because people just don't seem to think to source these kind of books and put them on there. So Amazon is really where a lot of these tend to wind up. This is the most current version. Cheapest you're going to find it. New is about $100, and even used, the lowest is $85. So if you could find one, get it on eBay, chances are you're going to be able to sell it, make a nice profit. Another one would be this one. Now, this one's going to be hard for you to find right now because this is the newest version that's coming out on December 10th. But, if you're watching this video way down the road, a few months from now, a year from now or so, this is something to look out for, a compendium of neuropsychological tests, the 4th edition. Right now, it's only available for $155. So I suspect that one's going to be in that $100 price range. So, okay, so those are the ones that are in that 10 spot. Now we're going to go to the number 9 item right here. Some of you may remember me sourcing this. It's the vintage Gantos silver shiny sequined women's jacket right there. Look how beautiful that is. I love all those little sequins. For those of you who watched the haul video, I'm going to throw you back on memory lane here. Here it is right here. You could see me sourcing it right out of the closet, and it was there for a while. I mean, I came to that sale hours after it started, and I couldn't believe it. So if you see something that shiny and sparkly with all the sequins and the tab on it, on the back, the little cloth tab there, the label, I mean, you could just tell it just screams that it's vintage. It's faded and everything. And look at that. It was only $2, and I wound up selling that for $60. And then there's a few other items there as well. So that's the update on that one. $60 sale there. Now, this is another shout out to Mrs. Primetime and her jewelry finds. We have another $60 sale here. And the key to this is not just that it's Disney related. You could see Tigger down there. There's Eeyore. There's Piglet and stuff. But it's a mother necklace, and anything that has the word mother on it is, especially if it's linked with jewelry, is going to be something that you should be able to flip well. Keep in mind, there are also mother rings out there, and there's mother bracelets. Now, the person who purchased this, by the way, also purchased the mother bracelet for $32.50. So this really wound up being a $92.50 sale when you combine both of the items together. But I'm just, for this video, showing individual items. I had put it on my Instagram account recently, and it's still there if you want to go back and and look there. It's prime_time_treasure. And I provide some information there. And you could also see what Mrs. Primetime likes to do is she actually likes to use black backgrounds for some of her jewelry, particularly the gold pieces, because she thinks it stands out better than putting it on a white background. And based on how her sales have been, hey, who am I to argue with her, right? So happy wife, happy life. So there you go. And you can see she does put some measurements in there for reference. So just want to pass that on, show you how she's doing that. And she has a lot of her jewelry listed, by the way. So if you want to go down, check out the eBay store and see all the stuff she's got. There's a lot of stuff in the jewelry section now. She adds stuff every day. Also, just as another tip, people specifically will look for certain Disney characters. Piglet is very popular. So is Tigger, obviously Winnie the Pooh. So fit as many of those characters in there. Don't just say Disney Winnie the Pooh mother necklace or mother charm necklace. I see people make mistakes like that all the time, leaving all these gaps at the end of the title. Don't do that. Cram in as many keywords as you can that are going to get people to your listing. So that's that one over there. So this one will be number 7. And of course, I'm going to have some comic stuff in here. And of course, I'm going to have some lovely ladies popping in here and there. So you can't mess with Tomb Raider. Guys love her, women love her. She's just kind of edgy with, she's always got those guns in her hand. And this is a cool black and white sketch cover. Now it's not an original sketch, but it just has that sketch look to it, and it comes with a certificate of authenticity. The cool thing about it is there's not that many of them that were made. There were only 500 of them made, and it dates back quite a while. I mean, it's not quite vintage yet, but it's it's pinpointed to a very specific location, 2002 at the Baltimore Comic Convention. So these are popular. This is not the kind of thing you're going to find at a garage sale. This is the type of stuff that you can source if you're buying out entire collections. What I do with these is I take the picture that shows the certificate of authenticity in it. Then I show a separate picture of the comic, then of the COA, and then of the side, and then of the back. And if there was something important from the inside to show, I would show that as well. So that one also wound up being a $60 sale. So let's move on to the next one. Now, this is going to throw a lot of people back into those old memories from back in the day. These recipe cards. These recipe cards are so cool. I absolutely love these. These sold for $64.99, I think. Or no, actually, sorry. I actually took a best offer on this one. So these actually sold for $55. So I should actually move those back a little bit, but they're still within the top 10 there. So $55 on this one. I only sourced it for $5, and this is the video here where I sourced it. It's actually the same video where you're going to see something else come up later that I sourced. So if you remember these cards, put that down into the description section if you ever use these, or not the description, the comment section. Put a comment down below. You see it says make offer. I didn't even have to make an offer. I literally just asked her, and she's like $5. So yeah, that was great that I wound up getting it. There you can see recipe cards, $5. So it was a nice flip, and there you go. I just took all different sorts of pictures of it, and then of course one of the recipe cards. I've got the front here, and then over here I put the back just to give people an example of what they look like. So. Those are the recipe cards. The next one here, and this actually came from the same day of sourcing with Mrs. Primetime that day that I went out. This is the series Thoroughbred. There was a spin-off section of this called Ashley, and that's actually, you'll see her name in some of the where is it? Like right there, you'll see it. She's one of the characters in the book. It's really designed to be for, for teenagers, young adults. Obviously, it's, equestrian based type of book. And there's a total actually of 72 of these, but you could see here, just getting like a random lot of 28 of them. These still did pretty well. These sold for the price you see here, 69.99. So it was a nice sale, and this is actually where I sourced it from. So just to bring you back to the video there, some of you might remember that over the summertime. So they're just sitting there underneath a table, and I think a lot of people passed them by because they just, I think people just looked at them and just thought of them as like, oh, they're just boring kids books. And don't pass those kind of things up. If you get them in a big lot, this is the thing with books. You could really do well with them, especially if you have some that are consecutive. And there were some that were consecutive as well. So that helps. And then people could just fill in the gap from there. So, you just gave people a bunch of the 72, and then they have fun filling in the rest of the collection. Now, this is another paper-based item that I sold. I love selling magazines, and this one here you could see is Heavy Metal magazine right there. I love this magazine. This magazine started off in 1977. So the older you could get them, the more valuable they are. This lot is a relatively newer one. So these all come from around the 2000s or the early 2000 range. All of them are almost all of them nowadays. And most of the covers are going to have a girl on there, a sexy girl, sexy woman. Some erotica based theme on there. You're not going to see really nudity on the cover, just going to be a little revealing, that type of stuff, like you see here. It's a dark science fiction / fantasy type of series. Guys like it, but there are some women who are fans of it as well. In terms of sourcing these, I try to source them for $1 or less. You will sometimes see them at conventions for $5 a piece. I would avoid purchasing them for that price unless you knew you had a really special issue. Like this one right here is one that I currently have for sale, listed in my store for $47.50. It's the 4th ever one. So you could see there, it's from July 1977. So if you get some of those early ones, you could do really well on them. And so another tip on listing heavy metal magazines, please make sure you put some of the artist and writer's name in here. There are a lot of artists who went by pseudonyms. For example, Mobius here, who is Jean Giraud, very, very famous. And you want to put names like that in there because people will literally search for these artists. So we'll see what happens with this one, but I suspect it to sell for somewhere in that $40 range at some point. And again, for those of you who are new, this is just me, showing that I'll do a stack up picture like this, just to give people a sense of how many books are there. And then here's my close-up shots on the books. And I do this with all types of comic lots and regular book lots that I sell. So now this one here, the next three we're going to show you, this is the Goosebumps video, which I said the estate sale treasures in this box gave me goosebumps. And I wanted to correct something that I said in this video. I said two things. One of them was right, one of them was wrong. I said when I walked up the stairs, this is literally what I saw, which is true. This is what I saw. And I accidentally said that the lid was on that, and the lid wasn't on it. That is literally what I saw. I came up the stairs and this is what I'm looking at. And I'm like, I cannot believe this, because I was sourcing all other areas of the house. And then I come up there and I find all these Goosebumps books, and it's just like the Thoroughbred books. I think people pass them up because, again, they just think kids' books are worthless. And it's a very big mistake, because kids' books, depending on the series, really could be worth a lot of money. How much money? Well, you could see here that I wound up selling 47 of these books. Now, they're all by R.L. Stine, who wrote the Goosebumps series. And then I found some extra ones. Fear Street. Fear Street's not worth anything in and of itself, but I just used it to pad the lot and just increase that overall number. The higher you can make that number, the better. And I took a best offer on this one. I sold it for $112.50. So it was a nice lot. And here you could see another example of the layout that I will do. I just take a nice big aerial shot like this. And then again, here would be my stack up, picture like this to get them side by side. Again, just to give people a sense of perspective. And you're really just trying to make that buyer feel like, wow, there's a lot of stuff there. And I also try to show the backs if this is something that's important to the series. People will want to see something like that just to make sure it's in good condition. And then, of course, here's your close-up shot. So this is one of the $100 plus sales for the month. And keep in mind, too, that these have condition issues with them. You could see here, not all of them, but they have some of them have a moderate amount of wear on them. Like, look at this book. There's a whole bunch of creases on there and stuff. Just say it, disclose it. Don't try to hide it. Just let them know it's there, and they still will sell. Okay. In fact, ironically, if you remember, like a week later, I went to an estate sale and I found more Goosebumps books. So I'm just holding these to the side until I get a bigger lot of them. Hopefully I'll find them again soon. And then I could just add to it. So make sure you have Goosebumps on your list. And then here's another comic book item. I wound up selling this one for $125, or actually, no, sorry. I actually sold it for the price that you see there. I didn't even take, the person just bought it flat out for $135. So this one was one of these things that I wound up sourcing in one of those big collections that I told you that I purchased. And it happened to be incredibly signed not only by Stan Lee, which you could see there is on the bottom, and also by Tom DeSanto. And he's very popular because he's a very well-known producer for making the X-Men series and also for making Transformers. He's done a lot of stuff. He's done Battlestar Galactica. I will do close-ups of the actual autographs so people could see them better. So as you can see here, Tom DeSanto is also a big comic fan, obviously, if he's producing things like X-Men, but he actually has over 40,000 comic books in his collection. So even though he didn't actually make the comic book or anything, because he's involved in it, sometimes you'll have people signing these books and you'll see the certificate of authenticity on the back, who are just in some other way related to the comic book now, or the comic book franchise. Now, keep in mind here as well, you'll see the plastic bag here. It wrinkled up here on the back flap. That's something you want to mention, but it doesn't really take away from the value of the book. The book, you could see, is still within the seal. The seal has never been removed there. That's Dynamic Forces. They made a lot of these certificates of authenticity with both Marvel Comics and other comic book companies like Dark Horse, for example. They did a lot through that. And then I'll zoom up on the certificate of authenticity. Make sure you're putting things like the number, like you can see there, this is number 125 of 1500. Make sure you're putting that in your listing. And sometimes, as you will see here, let me see if I have here's a better close-up of it. On the bottom, you could see sometimes they will handwrite the number on the actual book. So one of the artists will do that, or someone who's involved in producing the book. So you can see it says 125 over 1500. You want to make sure that that number matches what's on the back here. And if you've got that match, that really, really helps with value. So there you go, $135 sale on that one. And then the last one here, you guys are going to love this, especially the ladies. This is going to throw you back for some nostalgia. Let me get the bigger picture of this. Look at this. This is a total of 36 Star Hits magazines. Now these, so I took a best offer on these for $235. So did a good job on these. I'm really happy about this right here. Now I wound up sourcing these from an estate sale, and in the estate sale there was a ton of these 80s rock magazines. And basically what I did is I just went through them and I pulled them out according to title, and then I just listed them that way. And so I tried to put the most popular artists right there on the front. So you can see I put Wham on there. I tried to include something with Madonna right in the center. A lot of people will search specifically for Madonna 80s magazines, Billy Idol. You can see that. And that's why I put Madonna's name right here on top. John Bon Jovi right over there. So, very popular as well. One of the things you also want to be really careful of if you ever come across these types of magazines is you want to make sure that you check to see if the pull-out posters have been removed, because if they have, that is going to decrease the value of them. So if you have a big lot like this, one of the safest things you could say is just to say you cannot guarantee that every single poster is in there, because it would just take forever to go through every single one of these and make sure it hasn't been one single poster removed from them. So you could say something like the vast majority of them there, but there might be a few that are missing or something like that. So that's just that's just another important thing to keep in mind there. So I think that pretty much covers it. Let me see here. Is there anything else I wanted to tell you? Oh yeah, let me correct something on this one. I just went back to look at my notes. So these heavy metal magazines, I knew there were some that sold for $100. These actually sold for $100. So I was feeling really generous one day. I had I don't know, I had like 9 watchers on it or something. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to throw out an offer, $100 on these. And as soon as I did that, someone wound up taking it. So that actually was a $100 sale there. So, but that's it, everybody. I'm going to minimize the screen here. I hope everyone enjoyed that, and it gave people some good ideas and some things to think of for 2021 when you are thinking of going out there and sourcing. I'm just very happy that a lot of people have told me over the years that, for example, people have gotten into comic books and vintage types of paper collectibles and other types of items that I've shown here from watching these videos. So it's always good to know that. If there's a favorite item that you have or favorite thing that's sold, let me know that also down below. And I hope everyone is having a good start to the month. You can see I've got Santa Claus behind me there. And Santa Claus, by the way, that Santa Claus is from an estate sale. And that one actually is listed. So if anyone is interested in good old Santa Claus, again, you can go check out my eBay store and check him out. So anyway, thanks, everybody. I appreciate all the support. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all back the next one. Take care.